Hey, it's Camo with Nashville Access Facebook Live, the MV2 sessions. We're here at MV2 Entertainment on Music Row with probably the two heaviest legal narcotics, or not narcotics, but drug users on Music Row today. You've got a cold and I'm all juiced up on steroids for allergy.
Yeah, I'm a little buzzed on cough syrup right now.
Curtis Brawley, there's his picture. He doesn't have a cold in that picture.
Yeah, that's right.
Good song, man.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Really good song. You've been getting kind of a slow burn the last little while and really gaining in popularity. And
slow and steady wins the race, right?
Yeah, that's
right. What they tell me.
Yeah. You know, your radio's starting to take notice of you really well. What are you doing different? Are you just kind of stepping on the gas a little bit?
Well, I don't know really. I mean, we've several times kind of just stepped back to kind of reevaluate how we're handling things and what we're doing. And you know, this industry is ever changing and evolving. It's like you wake up the next day and they're doing something different.
The same day. You can wake up in the morning, they're doing one thing.
Exactly.
Have lunch, come back, and wait, what?
Right.
What?
So we've just been trying to look in the future to see, okay, what might work that they're not trying yet, and trying different things. And one of the things we started a couple of years ago was instead of trying to focus everything on putting a single out and pushing sales of a single, we went out on the road and just played shows and let the single kind of do its thing organically just from getting out and performing. And we partnered up with Tanya Tucker a couple of summers ago. Nice. And for the last 2 summers we went out on the road with her.
Is that like touring with a crazy aunt?
Yeah, a little bit. She's
that in all the best ways.
Yeah,
great.
And she would probably appreciate that.
Yeah.
She's a lot of fun to be out on the road with, and watching someone who's done that for so long, been in the business for so long, and see how tiring and exhausting you can get out on the road and still just walk on stage and knock it out of the park.
And have that much joy every freaking time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked her once, I said, do you ever get tired of singing that same old song that you've been closing your shows with for 30 years? And she said, no, I still love that song. It got me to where I'm at today. So, you know, hats off to her.
There's probably a lot worse people you could learn from out on the road.
I'm sure.
Than Tanya.
I'm sure I could pick up some bad habits.
Now, kind of tell people who don't know you where kind of your influence and what you bring to the Curtis Brawley machine kind of thing.
When I was young, I used to really look up to and almost study Garth Brooks and Reba McEntire.
Good choice.
And the reason was Garth, he always hit the stage with so much energy, and he had a way of connecting with that person who was up in the nosebleeds watching. It's like they felt like they had a one-on-one moment with him at some point during the show, and I always thought that was so fantastic that he could do that. And Reba would always, back when music videos were really popular, you know, you could watch CMT all weekend.
Yes.
She would have this way of taking her music videos and bringing them to life on stage.
Yeah.
So really the story of the song would just kind of unfold before your eyes, and I always thought that was great. It was almost bringing a theatrical element to her performance. So I kind of have taken both of those and studied how they work a crowd and bring a song to life, and try and implement those in my shows to not just get up there and sing the words, but make people in the audience believe the words that you're singing. And that seems to go over really well with people. They always come to me at the meet and greets after the show and talk about how a song that I performed on stage really touched them, or they felt like I was living the song when I was singing it. So that's always a great compliment to me, because that's what I'm striving for each night that I walk on stage.
Do you find that's hard today because people have such short attention spans, and you're up on stage pouring out your heart, and people are standing there with their phones and texting people and doing that? Do you have a hard time, or do you find that a particular challenge to make that connection?
I think it is more of a challenge these days. but I always like a challenge. So I think one of the things that I have found that helps with that is taking that emotional roller coaster ride, if you will, during a show from one extreme to the other constantly. So whether it's really got that tear jerk song that you're doing, and then immediately following that up with a up-tempo, fast party anthem song, so they're constantly, you're just kind of tugging and pulling constantly throughout the show, so it keeps their attention better.
Yeah, I mean, the pacing of show, just like the pacing of an album, is so important to take people on that journey.
Yeah.
But man, when they're out there in the audience and they're just doing nothing but texting and taking pictures, and
I have been known to leave the stage and just walk out to the audience and start talking to somebody.
wow.
That may have been chatting on their phone, not calling them out on it,
Yeah.
but I'll just start interacting with them, and they're like, oh, wait, he's talking to me, so I better pay attention to what he's saying.
That's cool. Tell us about the new single, Hate Me. This is...
Hate Me, it's off my album You Matter. This is the third single from that album. It was written by Drew Smith and Randall Clay. Two great songwriters. It originally came across my desk, and when I heard it, I thought, wow, what a cool twist on a song. I think everybody can kind of relate to have been in a relationship, and then maybe you've gotten out of the relationship and it wasn't necessarily a bad breakup per se, but you just knew you weren't right for one another, so you're trying to part ways, and then you run into one another a few weeks down the road when you're out in the local nightclub trying to move on, and they walk in and they still look really good and they're still being really nice to you, and you think, man, this is really hard to get over this person. You know, if you just weren't so damn good looking and so nice, maybe it'd be a little easier to get over you. Make it easier. Hate me, be mean to me, so I can move on with this song. So I thought it was such a cool twist on a song and something that everybody can relate to. And when we originally went out on the road with Tanya, we were hitting radio stations constantly along our route, and I always performed this song acoustically on the radio show, even though I was out promoting another single at the time. And the radio stations were like, man, when are you going to release this as a single? That's a great song. So we finally got around to doing that, and we would always strip it down in our shows and do it acoustically as well, and the crowd seemed to love it. So it's finally getting its debut.
You want to do it?
Let's do it.
We're not going to push you today because you're cold. So
I appreciate
if
that.
you can't hit a note, we're all good with it.
Okay. This is my buddy Mitchell Torrance. He's been out on the road with me with Tanya as well. So we just actually got off of a cruise together. We did cruise with Curtis on Carnival, and I think we're both still peeling and recovering from the sun. But
Lots of sun. Lots of sun, lots of
we'll
fun.
get through this for sure. It's good to see you out with friends, looking like you always did. Beautiful, you're so beautiful. Yeah, you caught me off guard, but that's alright. It's bound to happen in a town this size. Don't expect you to stay home when you're moving on. You said hello and you wish me well. I wish you told me go to hell or just let me be. That'd be easier on me. Just hate me. Don't say hi, just walk on by, and maybe I might get a clue and get over you. It might save me from going crazy. If you ever really love me, baby, then just hate me. You ain't doing nothing wrong, and I ain't trying to hold on. It's just hard, you know, letting go. I thought I could handle this, but clearly I can't handle shit. Wouldn't be this way, but it's gotta be this way. So just hate me. Don't say hi, just walk on by, and maybe I get over you. It might save me from going crazy. If you ever really loved me, baby, just hate me. Well, I know it ain't fair to me, but you said if there's anything I ever need from you, well, I'm begging you to just hate me. Don't say hi, just walk on by, and maybe I might get a clue and get over you. It might save me from going crazy. If you ever really loved me, baby, yeah, if you ever really loved me, baby, just hate me. Just hate me.
Nice. That wouldn't be out of place on 90s country radio at all.
No, and you know, that's one of the things when I was putting the album together, was trying to find that balance of really bringing in some of my favorite music, which was 90s country radio, and blending it with something new and current, if you will, for today.
It's amazing. You mentioned Garth Brooks and trying to bring that 90s sound in. How many guys I talked to today, who was your influence? Garth. Garth was the man. Mm-hmm. Lyrically, performance-wise, everything. Was he probably the biggest influence on you growing up?
Yeah, for sure. Especially from a performance level. Mm. I mean, there's just nobody like him. That's why you can go away for 25 years and come back and sell out arenas across the country.
And there were stories, he used to go up in it when they were rigging all the lighting and everything else, and he'd be up there because he wanted to see what it was like up in the nosebleeds where you can't see anything.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I remember him saying that, and I still do that myself.
Wow.
Haven't had the opportunity to play in an arena to get a perspective from that far away, but I still, if I'm playing a large theater or something, I'll go up in the balcony and kind of sit in different seats and just kind of take in the perspective of what the show is going to look like from that place, so I know when I'm on stage to not forget to focus on something up there.
Which is easy too, because you get past the lighting, you can't see anything.
Right, yeah. You see that first three rows and right in front of you, and that's about all you get.
So that's got to be really hard to be picking on those people way in the back and saying, you matter, without being able to say that
right
to them directly.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
have to let your music speak for that and your performance do that.
Right.
Did you ever think you would be out touring with Tanya Tucker? Like, did you just have to pinch yourself and...
Yeah. When I first got the word that we were going to go out with her, it was kind of a surreal moment, like, wow, I can't believe I'm going to be out playing with Tanya Tucker, and hopefully by the end of this become friends with her. Yeah. And we have, which has been fantastic, but that feeling that I felt prior to going out on the road with her, and then the feeling I had the first night I was out with her, was not remotely the same. It was on a scale times 10, because you forget just how many hits she had until you're actually at her show. And the first night I was with her, after my performance, I went back and got into the back of the audience and just watched her show, and I was like, she'd start singing a song, and I think, wow, she sings that song too, or that was hers too. And you forget how many songs that she had, and then you're just like, I can't believe somebody that's had this kind of success and that's been this iconic, I'm out on the road with her. It's been pretty incredible.
Are you looking forward to the day that you have to put all your hits into a medley?
That would be a great day. Yeah, that would be awesome.
You got a long time to go. I mean, you're doing well for where you are, and Are kind of the names that count starting to take notice of you now? You picking up bigger shows and that
I
kind of
think
thing?
so. I know a lot of I'm really involved in the business side of it too. I pay attention to what's going on behind the scenes too, instead of just going out and playing. And I know like when we send press releases out and stuff now, I pay attention a lot to who they're going to and who's actually opening them and reading them. And there's a lot of people in the industry that wouldn't have paid any attention to me 2 or 3 years ago that are starting to take notice and read the things that we send out. So at least know they're keeping their eye on me,
Yeah.
which is good.
And in this town, having people keeping an eye on you is a pretty big deal in and of itself because it's so easy to get ignored here. Because there's
Extremely.
because being good in Nashville ain't good enough.
That's true. When I first moved to Nashville, I thought, oh my goodness, what have I done? Because
You're not the first one that has asked themselves that. Yeah.
living outside of the state and doing the music, especially I'm originally from Houston, Texas, and I was kind of a big deal in in my own town there. And then when I moved here, it was suddenly you're just nobody. I mean, there's 500 people walking down the same street that's just as good, if not better.
The guy you
than
pass playing music on the street is killer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so you're constantly waking up every day thinking, okay, what am I going to do to stand out against these other people, or what can I do better that's going to make me stand out more than the other person? And I don't even know that there's really the right answer to that. I think at the end of the day, you just have to get up every day and do the best at being you, and hope that wins in the end.
What advice would you give? I mean, that sounds like good advice, but for artists coming to town just like you did, thinking...
Run!
Don't come to Nashville. You want to be big in music. Don't come.
Well, first I would say, don't get discouraged.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's what happens to most people when that first probably year here, they get really discouraged because there is so much competition and so many no's and so many doors shut on you. But you just have to stick with it. And Dolly told me one time, because I asked her for this same advice, what would you tell me? And she said, when I first came to town, there was the same thing, a lot of amazing people, really talented, and you just have to outlast everyone else. Yeah. You just got to keep going until all the other ones finally decide, I'm done, I'm tired of trying, and the one still standing at the end will have a career.
Well, and people forget, and we're always talking about this, Nashville's a 10-year town. You can't come to Nashville and say, well, I'm going to try it for a year and see how it goes.
Right.
That ain't going to happen.
Mm-mm.
You might as well just save the money and stay home.
Yeah.
Because it is that
and a lot of money it is.
Yeah.
It's not a
Well,
cheap.
it's not cheap, and they don't hand out labels, deals like they used to,
No.
and
Nobody
You gotta make
pays you to play.
nobody.
That's true.
Not to
You
mention
got to make your
studio
own path.
time.
Studio time. Yeah.
People ask me all the time, when are you playing again in Nashville? And I said, I rarely play in Nashville because, excuse me, you just can't make any money playing in Nashville. I get outside of Nashville where
And you carry that Nashville banner, and then it has a price to it, and it's got value.
right, yeah.
What do you got planned for the summer? You're going to be out on the road again?
Yeah, we've got a few things planned. We're actually planning some stuff back in Texas. I haven't had an opportunity in a couple of years to really get into Texas and play again. So we've got some stuff planned with that, and we're also talking about doing some stuff with Tanya again.
Cool.
People keep asking me, well, are you going to get out on the road and play with anyone else other than Tanya? But Tanya is, it has been such a good ride so far that I'm just really enjoying it, and there's so many other places that we can get out and play that we haven't yet.
Opens a lot of doors.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. You got to get yourself on the Cuero Turkey Fest in October down in Cuero, Texas. That's
Yeah, really?
That's the big gig. Everybody wants the Cuero Turkey.
You can stay with my parents if you need a
Yeah.
place to stay.
Good to know. I appreciate that.
What are you doing for CMA? Are you going to be in town for CMA?
I will be.
Cool.
I don't have anything specific planned yet, but we did a couple of shows last year around CMA Fest. I'm sure we'll do some stuff again, and I'll be around shaking hands and kissing babies.
Don't get it switched around. That apparently works out good.
That's right. That probably wouldn't work out too well. They say all press is good press, but I'm
That's
not sure
right.
that would be great.
That's right. As long as they remember your name and spell it right.
That's right.
Yeah, I think things have changed.
Yeah.
Curtis, thanks for coming back by. I know you're sick and it's kind of hard dragging yourself out when you don't feel great.
You know, I set a goal a long time ago to never have to cancel an appointment or appearance for being sick, and so far I've done that, so it's like this personal goal I've got in me.
I'll be hitting the hand sanitizer after you.
I don't blame you.
Thanks for coming, man.
Thank you, I appreciate
Best
it.
of luck. It's good to see you.
Thanks.